We're reviewing this 1982 Chevrolet Camaro Z28. This car symbolized the end of the second American automotive golden age. 1982 was a critical year for the laissez-faire economic policy in the United States, forcing the manufacturers to outsource production. As a consequence, the Camaro received a severe budget cut for a brand new third gen. Yes, third gen. It is an important move from the second since it became much more squarish and 80s and somewhat slightly more fuel efficient with the help of the Aerodynamics. And oh boy, Aerodynamics were the hot thing back then. And it is weird to see that this thing, made by American engineers, was probably one of the most aerodynamic vehicle ever. In the 80s, of course, because, you know, the other continents start to make better things about a decade later. And in the 80s, that was the last time that was true. Because in the 90s and 2000s, the American engineers barely got able to build a car that, could start on the dealer lots. Yeah, so the disparity got much larger, and this Camaro was one of the last of its kind that could actually compete with imported Asians and Europeans' sport cars. Except, the US government decided to put some anti-pollution and fuel-saving measures that basically only affect the American manufacturers. And this, ladies and gentlemen, was named laissez-faire free market. No lobby involved, right? Anyway, the consequence of these bills were limited to the destruction of the power output of this car, which, it's kind of a big deal for a Camaro to receive limited power since it is like just the biggest selling point, just to say not the only one. But still, this Camaro was prized by the working class, an affordable pony compared to the purebred Italian stallions. The sport car that every worker could own, nothing too bad for America. And thus, after 34 years of existence on this plane, this Camaro has seen its fair share of owners, and it seems that the last few were kind of neglecting and abusing it. The body is rough, but the Camaro is resilient to damage. Scars are simply an expression of its life. Panels are in dire need of replacement, but the car was made before the era of instant replacement, and the charming gouges in the bodywork are only affecting the aesthetics. The frame is still solid and the powertrain still pulls hard. The interior was also badly treated, seats torn apart, and general unwariness was dealt to it. But we can still find a few treasures in this Camaro. For example, there is a back seat, and we will leave it at that. And there's also as well an improvised G-force gauge. And in the middle console, there is a mounted clock that makes sure to be totally out of sight to inform you of how late you're going to be at the factory. Of course, this Camaro, unlike any other I've seen, is a manual. That's a good thing because the Z28 was the sporty, racy, most expensive version available, and it was only available with some useless 3-speed or maybe 4. It is not really important since both are just slush boxes. But in the course of this Camaro's life, one of the owners did care enough to put a 5-speed in it, probably in a similar way that a wife-beater buys his wife a brand new dishwashers as a sorry for your forearm, babe. I promise I will change. Did I really just go there? Talking about a third-gen Camaro and going into the wife-beater stereotype. Really original, right? The only thing that's missing is some scuff marks from Razor on the dash for some cocaine snorting. Anyway, the car is sporting the Z28 badge, and it is quite surprising to see the questionable engine choice. In 1982, the Z28 was equipped with a 5-liter or a 305, giving out about 150 horsepower and about 240 or so foot-pounds of torque. Of course, these numbers are slightly inflated because it is really that bad. And thanks to the aforementioned regulations from the government, General Motors did not have any 350 engine that could fit in time for 82. So rather than saying something wise along the lines of "No Z28 this year, boy, gonna need to wait 83, they just put the badge of the, sorry for the word, shittiest V8 they have ever produced. Just as a comparison, the 81 Z28, the one that you could buy for less at the dealer at the same time, did more than the 82 Z28. All these together makes it quite clear as to why this 1982 Chevrolet Camaro Z28 symbolized the end of the second American automotive golden age. If you have enjoyed a review of this American muscle car, these may probably interest you just as much. Oh, wait a minute, that's like a 4-banger Stang and a grandparent's land barge, not really muscle cars. But, you know, that will imply that the 82 Z28 is a muscle car, so, bah, what gives? Anyway, if you agree or disagree, or you just wanna say hi, then go ahead and leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe to not miss any new review. Thanks for watching. Oh, and you think we will record a 1982 Camaro with a side exhaust pipe without at least getting a sound clip? Well, here you go.